What's up, people? Welcome to my show where I bring in different people from different backgrounds to showcase their talents and specialties to the world. Today, it is a privilege to have with me here Karla Gordy, who is a well respected theater, arts, and culture city commissioner for Beverly Hills, and her charisma shines onto others she interacts with.
Well, thank you for that beautiful introduction, Amado.
Of course. And
Yeah, it's my pleasure to be here in the studio here at Beverly Hills High School. KBEV is one of our best, assets to the city.
yeah, I understand you were born in this city. This is your alma mater. So I want to go back to the very beginning about what your childhood was like here in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, I was not born in Beverly Hills at the wonderful nearby hospital Cedar Sinai like my daughter was, but I was born in Detroit, Michigan.
Ooh,
And my family moved to Beverly Hills from Detroit for their business. It's a big company in Detroit, and they were expanding into film and television from music. And so I was just about to turn 6 years old when I
wow.
moved here. Yeah.
And what was it like being a part of the Gordy family, a well-known Motown family?
Yeah, so there you have it. The company that moved here was Motown Records, and how was it? When you grow up, and I'm sure you've had other guests that have spoken to this that grew up in a family of some prominence.
Mm,
Motown is a company that impacted the world and the industry of music
mm-hmm.
in a way that no other company has really done. And when you're young, you don't know this.
Yeah.
Whatever our family is, whether they're the best surgeon, they have the biggest company in their own industry, you just know your family works. They do their thing. You have a lot of celebrities, entertainers that you see on TV that are over and around us all the time at family gatherings. And you just don't, you take that for granted. So it was actually here when I attended Beverly Hills High School. I went to Beverly Vista, third grade through graduation in eighth grade. And then I came to Beverly ninth through 12th and graduated. But it was around here that I started, kids are in their teenage years and they're,
Yeah.
really into concerts. So of course I went to the Grammy Awards every year because our, artists were there. My mother was a vice president at Motown. My dad was a songwriter producer at Motown and for other companies and a solo artist. Um, and so therefore you were interacting in that space. So I used to invite my friends to concerts.
Oh, wow.
Be like, who wants to go to a concert? There's so and so having this happening, and I didn't think anything of it, but to them it was a big deal. And so yeah, we just enjoyed life and going to concerts and being backstage with Smokey Robinson and Lionel Richie, the Commodores, or the Temptations, and Rick James, all these different people that were like family friends.
Yeah.
Some quote, when you're young, you call them auntie and uncle. Some of them, others were just extended family members or what we call the Motown family. And that's all it was. Just nice, fun people that were artistic, creative with music. So everywhere, of course, every gathering had a lot of fun music.
Yeah.
I was a dancer since I was 7, so it was just a great space for me. It was always a happy environment. Michael
And
Jackson
oh,
would be there in the Jackson 5, just all this stuff. No big deal at the time. Later you look back and you go, "Wow, I guess that was kinda different for other people," because you hear them comment on it.
and what was it like to interact with other people like Michael Jackson, Rick James, and I saw this on one of your Instagram stories about I think your dad knowing, or sorry, not your dad. I think Marvin Gaye was
My
one
un
of your,
my uncle through marriage, my uncle-in-law, mhm.
yeah, Marvin Gaye was your uncle-in-law.
He was married to my great aunt.
Yeah, so I guess when you think about great people like that who are well known, and it's like you were you were like fortunate enough to be brought up in a culture like that. I mean, what are your thoughts on it? What type of influence did it have in your upbringing, upbringing, and the person that you became from that?
Mhm. Well, I think my dad, who I mentioned earlier, his name is Johnny Bristol. He's passed on, but being a singer, songwriter, producer, very artistic, Grammy nominated man, very much in the industry and respected, a Motown legend, I love to say. He really was. He made sure I think I was grounded by taking me to see his family all the time in the summers from Beverly Hills to North Carolina.
Oh,
And not just like the big city of North Carolina. He grew up in Morganton, North Carolina, so a very small town.
Oh, okay.
with dirt roads. So imagine growing up in Beverly Hills, and what Beverly Hills brings. My aunt had one of the biggest houses up Benedict Canyon, and then my mom was on Maple Drive. And yeah, it's just like I found a balance, but at a young age. So to have a family that was so famous in music, filled with tons of celebrities, seemed normal. But then to be able to go to a small town every summer and spend 2 months, and it really humbles you. And I love that I grew up with that balance.
Yeah.
Um, because the sad part is for me when I go to these small towns, then people become jealous and tease me because of maybe the way I talk. Because in
Yeah.
Beverly Hills we had our little valley twang,
Yeah.
or where I'm from. Oh, you're from Beverly Hills. We all get that. Everybody that grew up in Beverly Hills gets that when they go other places. So
Yeah.
people assume a certain persona about you. And I was always a down to earth, appreciate everybody kind of person and found respect. And I think it's because my family, my Gordy family, and my Bristol side really made sure we respected just people in general as people, no matter how famous and wealthy and high profile they were. We always engaged, even with staff, whether they're the driver, the maid staff, or secretary, whoever. We were very close to them and treated them and cared about their own family and had them around. So I think anybody that has staff members and workers in general, even if you're a gardener, you can respect human beings.
Yeah.
And I think my family just always showed a respect for all human beings.
Yeah.
So I didn't differentiate that, oh, you were just on a big TV show or you just did a movie or you whatever versus someone who's maybe watching us. I just liked people. I just looked at people and I didn't care what race a person was, where they grew up, how much money they had. It was just really about their heart, their
Yeah.
kindness, their soul, their spirit, how they made me feel. And that to me is something I guess naturally instilled in me. And so I carried it with me all the time. So I would always hear people saying, God, I expected you to act this way when I met your family, this and that, and you grew up in Beverly Hills. But I would always be confused by it until I got a little older. And then I realized, oh, just because I'm a good person in my heart and I just look at people. So that way I stay grounded. They don't expect that.
Yeah.
They don't expect that. And so then I started seeing the difference.
And what you said, it reminds me of this famous, well-known quote. It's um, like the way I treat you is no different than the way I would treat a janitor. And I think
Mm,
it's important for more people to operate that way.
yeah.
One, because it doesn't matter what type of career field someone is in. What matters most is who that person is at the end of the day, how they treat others,
Yeah.
and you never want to take for granted what a janitor or a gardener may know. I've seen movies
Oh, yeah.
where there's a cleaner that's cleaning a room, and then two people are talking about something they plan to do. Maybe it's illegal, and they're like, this guy, he's stupid. He's not gonna understand what we're trying to do. He's not gonna care. But then they don't realize it. But like that janitor goes talking to someone, and then word gets out.
Yeah, no, it's true. I had one of the best conversations with one of our city janitor. He's at the public works department, and he was in front of City Hall planting. I came out of my city commission meeting. I'm a city commissioner,
Mm.
Arts and Culture Commission. I'm the chair of the commission. And so I walked out of a meeting and he was there, nice guy. And me and another fellow commissioners last year said, "Hi, how are you doing? Pretty flowers." And we were about to just continue walking. But he then engaged with us with
Mm-hmm.
his beautiful personality, and we kinda, I think, questioned what the plant was, and we had this long conversation after that, like, unexpected, and he was so knowledgeable, not just about plants, about
Mm-hmm.
life, organizations he was a part of, charitable things he was doing. It was just like, "What?" Like,
Yeah.
you just can't judge what people's position is when you meet them.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he's over here planting, some flowers in front of the building, you don't know what this man's life is about, the big story.
Yeah.
He might own 10 real estate buildings and rents them out, but just loves gardening.
Yeah.
So he wanted to take a position over here and loves being in Beverly Hills, the community. Who knows?
Yeah.
So you don't judge people based on the moment you meet them.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I listen. I don't run around just saying, my family background or my position in one of my careers. You just kind of listen, let people talk, and usually they just tie themselves in a knot because then you're like, okay.
Yeah.
They judge you for a variety of reasons, and it's just not right. I just learned to be good to people, but I love growing up in music. I love music. I couldn't when I went to college, I went to Michigan State University, and I had to play music to go to s when I go to sleep, I always have music going because growing up, we always had music. I'd be sleeping, my stepdad would be down editing one of his sessions because he was a manager for Motown artist,
Yeah.
and I just was used to hearing music in the house in the wee hours, and I had to go to sleep, so I had to have that around all the time, and I still love music. It makes me feel so much joy when I get in my car and turn on the radio. I still love the radio because I love KGLH, and that Stevie Wonder owns the station,
Oh,
actually. Our
yeah.
Motown guy, so I gotta always look out for Stevie Wonder. But you listen to music, and no matter how you feel, what your day is like, if you feel tired, down the minute I feel music, fill my car with music in the air, I just get happy, and when I dance, that's just the endorphins get going, and I love it. So it's a good space.
Yeah. And what inspired you to start dancing at a young age? Was it the music, like the in the family, of course, that you were
Mhm.
brought up in?
Yeah, I really don't know what happened, but I was age 7. I went to Dupree Dance Academy, which was the famous dance studio to go to on 3rd Street here.
Hmm.
And I joined. I don't really know what took me there, but maybe someone mentioned it. And so I went to try it out. My mother took me, and I really gravitated. Like, I fell in love with the beauty of expression and contemporary dance and just being free and moving to the rhythm. And then I, of course, was trained in ballet, which is important to do as a dancer, to have your, standard base of anything dance. If you're a real dancer, you should always have the structure of ballet.
Yeah.
And I just really love that space. So I always tell people just try a variety of things. Just
Hmm.
just experience different things because your body, your soul, your spirit will let you know what you tie into, what really sparks something in you. And so dance always did. And I just that was it. Dance was my thing. I big dancer. When I came to Beverly Hills High School, I auditioned for the dance group.
Yeah.
Then it was called the Advanced Dance Theater Group. We later renamed it after a long vote of names to the company.
Yeah.
I was part of the group that voted to change the name, so I'm happy to know that they still have the company as the current name of that dance group program. And we were there and did the first poster. I was helping design the very first poster for the company
Oh, wow.
here at the high school. So it is a joy for me to come to the dance shows and see the posters and remember back in the 80s when I was a part of that. So it's all about legacy and you know knowing how these things came about. So I love talking to some of the dancers even here. Yeah.
And if I were to meet you in high school, what was your personality like?
Mm. I was shy, funny enough. And what it
Oh.
I was shy, quiet, more reserved, but when it came to dance and performing arts, I would come alive. Like a
Oh.
whole different person would just come out because I think I tapped into something that I felt free and full confidence and I'd express myself. But when I'd get off the stage, I pretty much stayed quiet to myself. I had a lot of people that were jealous
Hmm.
of me or would tease, say things. Just kids. Kids can be really nasty.
Yeah.
I think it's that just I don't know what causes kids. It still goes on today.
I've been through it too.
If you're gay, they just say things that are hurtful or I I don't think they really realize the magnitude of the words that come out their mouth, and they gotta understand people will grow up and become adults
Yeah.
and remember this, and it impacts them, and you'll be an adult, and you'll be the bully adult now looking back
Hmm.
on your past, and so people need to really think about how they behave because you will one day look back on your own self and be like, "Wow, what a terrible person I was."
Yeah. Exactly.
So, I just preferred to stay quiet because I would observe. I like to sit back and watch people,
Hmm.
and I would just observe people and learn, from what they're saying, learn from their actions, watch how people, gravitated to different people, even learning from adults. I think it's sometimes important and often important to be silent and listen. They always say the biggest lessons you can do is be quiet. Some people talk too much.
Yeah.
Those are the people that I just kinda go, that's an issue. Because
Hmm.
if you can keep talking and you're not taking in, that means you're trying to be in charge or think you know everything and you don't wanna learn. And if you don't wanna learn, that's usually a bad sign for somebody's future. You
Yeah.
have to be able to learn. That's how you grow.
Hmm.
So I was observant and I love soaking in from my family. I had very powerful women in my family that helped found Motown
Wow.
with my uncle, my Gordy aunties. And They instilled so much in me growing up, so many lessons. So my mother, my father, my aunts and uncles literally made me the person I am, and all that extended family. And I think then coming to here at high school, just observing a lot of people. And it was often sometimes it was bad, sometimes it was good.
Yeah.
But then you find your friend group,
Yes.
people that you connect with, you have relate. They were the ones that got to go all the concerts with me and hang out and be around my family parties and enjoy that.
Yeah.
And but when I was here, who Melanie Shatner, um, William Shatner from
Oh,
from Star Trek. She was in my middle school at Beverly Vista in here. I still am in touch with many of the friends. Orly, is a friend of mine. She's still around town. Yeah, I can name so many great Beverly Hills classmates I had that I'm still in touch with, that are really nice, and they were good, people, good energy people to hang around. So they're the ones that resonate. The people that were bullies, I don't even talk to them.
yeah.
I don't
Exactly.
even remember their names.
Yeah. They're useless. They don't mean anything.
It happened. It's on. I just didn't let it damage my spirit. You learn, take the positive out of something, and then you go on with your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And wasn't one of those people that you talked about that you still keep in touch with, Lenny Kravitz? Didn't he go to this high school?
Lenny did go to Beverly Hills High School. I think it was 10th and 11th grade. And yeah, we were good friends. Good friends. He had a band with my cousin, Kennedy Gordy, and Lenny were in a band together. And Dan, who's known as Zorro now, I still am in touch with him. They're great guys. I don't talk to Lenny like I used to as much, uh, but I definitely can reach out and, say hi here and there. But it'd be great to be in touch by phone again. But we have so many people in a group that talk to him on the regular. I can send my hellos or greetings to him. Yeah, I'd
Yes.
love to see him come back to the school and be, but people do, he's out. He's a little busy
Yes, exactly.
impacting the world and having major celebrities. Just the other day, I heard someone say, "My favorite performer is Lenny Kravitz." I thought that
Yeah.
was so cute because to me, I'm thinking Lenny back from the band at high school, and this guy now says his favorite performer, and it was a big celebrity that said this, and I thought, wow, look at how we can transition to
Hmm.
different levels. Look at the lives we can impact
Yeah,
just from doing what we love.
exactly.
Lenny's just doing what he loves. He's been loving, music for so long
Yeah.
as a kid. But to get to that point,
Hmm.
it's like me dance or in my broadcasting or whatever I do. When people admire that or it inspires them, it's just like wow, it's a great compliment because I'm just doing what I love doing, and it might just happen to be something that really impacts other people, and that's to me where the special part of that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah. And he
so,
was my prom date. I want to say.
oh,
Yeah, Lenny was my prom date. It was my prom senior year. He was not here senior year attending the school anymore.
hmm,
One of those permit issues, I think. I'm not positive, but I think that's what it was. He switched schools. But because we were all still in the same friend group, I had asked him, did he want to go to prom? Because I broke up with my boyfriend. And yeah, he said yes. And we had a great time as friends. We're all friends and we all hung out and went to his house. His mom had some stuff there for us. We went to one of the other girls' house. You hop
yeah.
breakfast here, this there, that there, and we all went around. Yeah.
And there's one interview that I saw with him and this other guy. I forgot the other guy's name. I think it was with James Corden.
Mhm.
He was talking. Lenny was talking about his experience here at the high
At the high
school.
school.
Yeah, and I think one of the things he talked about is how one of his social studies teachers would let him skip class because it's like he was like, "You're in a band, as long as you're doing something, just if you need to skip class, you can." And the title of the episode was something like how Lenny ruled Beverly Hills High School.
That's cute. Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't see that. I'll try to look for it. That'll be fun to see. But the band was very popular for sure.
yeah.
And when you have a craft like that, whether it be dance, like myself at the time, or uh, being a musician or an actor, we had a lot of actors that came out of Beverly.
Oh
Nicolas
yeah.
Cage was
Oh
was in my
yeah.
class. We were friends here at Beverly. So you have these people that's their craft, and you have supportive teachers that understand and see something in you that's a form of teaching as well. As long as, like I said, as long as you're doing the work at hand, as long as you're not off goofing around,
Yeah.
but you're doing something actually that you have passion for and that can better you
Hmm.
in the future. Sure, what a supportive teacher. Yeah, yeah. I think I know which teacher that was too. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, And just the school in general, the district, there's a rich history to it, both good and bad,
Mhm.
where that has had a positive influence in where the district is at now, I believe. There's still room to improve as usual, but I'll give you an example. I don't know if you're familiar with, and this is for the audience too. I don't know if you're familiar with this coach by the name of Billy Smith, but he's been here in the district from 1980 until 2015.
Mhm.
Around 1986, there were budget cuts with the district, and he was laid off. And he was at El Rodeo. He was a PE coach. He had a great influence on the students where they gathered together, they protested for him, and that's on them. Like they chose to do that because they really appreciated this guy. They wanted him back, and one of those people was Angelina Jolie.
Mm. Look at that.
Yeah, and I know this guy, Billy Smith, and there's and long story short, as the years continued, with the family here in the district. They wanted him to open up his own basketball camp. It's called Bedwood Fun Camps, and so he has this title, SOS, Save Our Smith. That's one of the stories to how the camp was able to get started. And he told me I was able to reach out to some of the kids were that started the whole protest, except Angelina Jolie. So it's stories like that where it's
Yeah.
like, look at the city that we're in. Look at the
Yeah.
school district.
Yeah. You never know the future of anybody in any city, all over the world. People are kids and they grow up to be many things, but especially in a city like Beverly Hills or a high profile town where there are a lot of entertainment families that have kids and raise their own kids.
Yeah,
Quite often, those kids do go into the entertainment business. Therefore, you'll have their names pop up maybe in the press one day over something they're doing. So, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that's all great. I mean, I look at all people as normal individuals, whether you're celebrity child or not. No one should act better than the other,
hmm,
but definitely they have maybe an easier opportunity, at least an opportunity. Doesn't mean
yeah,
it's a guarantee.
hmm,
Every door can open for you in a situation, but it's how you walk in and what
hmm,
do you bring through that door.
yeah,
You got to bring something grand through the door, else the door's just going to close. You're going to fall, and you're not going to go anywhere. So you still have to have talent, skill, um, a plan. You have
hmm,
to execute. You have to, show up, be on time, do the job. So
hmm,
there's so many things that come with that. But yeah, a lot of people here have a lot of opportunity, a lot of open doors,
yeah,
I would say, for a lot of the students in this school, but everybody doesn't make it because they don't seize the opportunity by being ready.
hmm.
Yeah.
And then after high school, what college did you decide to go to,
Mhm.
and what did you major in? And with those two choices in mind, why did you make those two choices?
Okay. So what I did when I left Beverly, I wanted to go off to a 4-year college. My stepdad didn't want me to. He's extremely strict
Oh,
and protective. Where all my male cousins, which I would say there was just me and all male cousins, tons of them, and a lot of my family went through the school system. Um, he wouldn't let me go away. He wouldn't let me go. So I didn't want to go to Santa Monica because
hmm,
that stigma of, oh, it's right here. You're going to see all the same kids. I didn't want to do that. So I wanted to be in a new environment. So the next best thing was to go to Pierce College.
okay,
So I did go to Pierce College for a year. And then again, I kept pushing to go away to a 4-year college. Against his wishes, my mom finally said, okay, you can go. You've been here for a year, and I went on to Michigan State University,
oh, okay,
as I had mentioned earlier. Yeah, that was where I went, and I picked Michigan State for a multitude of reasons. One is they're a great school, great program. Nothing against U of M. I don't get caught up in that. There's a lot of great schools out there. But I did go there, and my sister, half sister, was attending. She was a senior,
hmm,
and she kept telling me how great the school is and what a great dance program. Because of course she was trying to reel me to
oh
come.
yeah,
And once she told me about the dance program. I looked into it and found out they do have a great dance program, as did U of M. I will say they both had one. And I wanted to experience being in the state I was born in And we, to this day, still have the Motown Museum, which is where Motown Records was founded. So my family member,
Mm.
my aunt, great aunt Esther Gordy Edwards, founded the Motown Museum, and it was in Detroit, still is, and it's actually expanded to like a $75 million facility. So it's great to go visit. And I wanted to be there and learn more about our family history and be around family members and
Yeah.
just experience the winter,
Hmm. Yeah.
the snow. You come in LA all the time. You're like, I want to be in the snow because all my cousins that lived there and grew up there would always talk about it, and I would visit, but I didn't get to stay long. So many reasons I picked it, and so I'm glad I did. I had a great time there. I was teaching dance to local schools while I was there. I majored in business administration. I
Ooh.
minored in dance because any and everything I do is going to involve dance. Even if I walk out of here, I might dance when I walk out of here. Um, and then my mother had some needs here. She was going through her divorce from a stepdad, and my brother was younger who went here too. And so she needed me to get back this way. So I had to come out of school a little early, and I went to Santa Monica College, and I ended up finishing broadcasting. So
Oh,
I got into broadcasting. So I love to always love television, and I wanted to have the business education about running a business because my family owned a big business. So I felt like that's why I wanted to learn business. I was always business minded.
yeah.
So there's just like I said earlier, learning a variety of things,
Hmm.
taking something from that, and just doing what you're passionate about. Really projects your future.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I got it. I didn't wanna do journalism, because writing I'm a great writer, but I just didn't want to do all those writing papers.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
lot of writing. So if you do journalism, you wanna be able to do you wanna love writing all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm an amazing writer, I just didn't wanna do a degree in it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love that, and so I went into doing red carpet interviews, while I was in school. I was always the top of my class. I went on to do, awards events,
Hmm.
emceeing, galas. I did the, Miss Sacramento teen beauty
Ooh.
pageant up north. That was great being the MC with all these wonderful, pageant, and crowning the winner. That was a great experience. I've gone to Jamaica. I've done things there, hosting. I've been a choreographer and dancer, traveling. I worked for Ted Turner's company in Atlanta at CNN,
Hmm.
the Turner Broadcasting Award Show, Trumpet Awards for 3 years as a talent coordinator and producer. So it just all the different fabrics of what I learned growing up, my interest always kind of helped each other. And without realizing it, I saw how this experience, that experience all came together to put me in a place of a multitude of careers.
Yeah. And then, well, first of all, congratulations on that. Your what you accomplished
Yeah.
during your upbringing, and then in college, and what you did after college. So, with everything that you were doing, what led you to becoming a city commissioner for Beverly Hills in theater, arts, and culture, and your real estate career?
Yeah, there's that part. Huh?
Yeah, and any other
um,
stuff that
mm,
you're a part of as well.
yeah. So I'm really proud and honored that I was unanimously appointed by our Beverly Hills City Council
Hmm.
in 2021 to be one of their city commissioners. Um, I had been asked many times to be city commissioner or run for city council or just, be in leadership after being a part of other aspects of the city in leadership positions. I was the chair of the centennial year, the 100th anniversary year of Beverly Hills. They had several committee projects, and I was on two.
Okay.
One was the concert committee. We did a concert for the centennial and also the documentary. That was the official documentary project for the centennial year. So I was the chair of that committee
Hmm.
and executive producer of the short films that we produced for the city. And I put together a team of people and produced those films, and that was really great. It's called Destination Beverly Hills,
Wow.
and we have 10 short films based on the low budget. I had to do them as short films and whatever I needed to do to accommodate the city needs, and I had a great time with that. And so I got a lot into TV producing. I then became a TV host
Hmm.
um, at public access television in West Hollywood, live television. So my first experience doing television was on live television,
Wow.
30-minute show.
Hmm.
Can you imagine that one? Your first time, and you just what you see is what you get. If you mess up, you got to know how to go. And I think that came from being a dancer.
Yeah.
You mess up on stage, you got to keep it going. You do a jump, roll, spin, this, keep it going. So I learned early if you mess up, you just keep going with the flow. And in conversation, we could flub, but you just keep going.
Yeah.
And people will only remember the content of what you projected versus a little flub.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I did that and still do. I then joined Beverly Hills Television,
Wow.
and I'm still there. Haven't filmed this year because I've been really, really on a crazy schedule
Yeah.
of other projects, but I do have some guests lined up that I want to start booking over there. So I kind of just let them know when I have a guest I want to interview. The station is great, great team, great cameras,
Hmm.
and they do so much in the city. They're probably great for a break.
Yeah.
They're happy to have a little break because they do so much. They filmed. I had a commission meeting today, and they actually filmed the commission meeting, and now they're with City Council
Oh.
filming that, so they stay going. That team is really going. It'd be great. I don't know if you guys shadow them here, but it'd be really great to have KBEV students shadow some of Beverly Hills Television.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Um, and then I became an event producer, and I think by way of just enjoying events and bringing content to people and seeing them happy as a performer on stage,
Yeah.
I started learning about producing shows through working at Turner Broadcasting's Trumpet Awards.
Hmm.
So I became a talent coordinator and then a show coordinator and then a producer.
Yeah.
And that experience was like college. I
Hmm.
mean, it really was. I worked directly with the producers of CNN,
Yeah. That's.
and my camera crew for a symposium that I produced was the CNN crew, and we're talking in the '90s.
Yeah.
That was great. And so for me, I was like, wow, how, I get to use the same people that do the news program. And so it was really, really a great experience. And it let me know how much I love it, how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So I continued to go on doing other events. I used to book talent for other shows. And I said, well, I'm always putting all this great talent, very high profile celebrity talent
Yeah.
with these charitable organizations and events. And so I decided that I would start putting on shows for people to be happy with through my connections myself.
Yeah.
And for 13 years now, I put on an event with my mother called the Friends of Fuller Gordy Strike Fest,
Oh yeah.
which you came in
Hmm.
last year. You were at our 13th one, and you worked on our committee. And we celebrate Motown individuals. We celebrate music, and we celebrate bowling.
Yeah.
My grandfather Fuller Gordy is who we name it after, and he was a uh, high profile bowler back in the day,
Hmm.
very well known, and he was one of the first black men in Michigan to be inducted, or the first actually in Michigan to be inducted into the Professional Bowling Association. So
Wow.
highly respected by anybody in the bowling world. Um, and so it was great to be able to do an event in honor of him. But he was also Motown Records executive.
Hmm.
So we do music and we do concerts and we do
Yeah.
bowling and we have food and we have just art. We bring art and we have an auction, and it's just
Yeah.
so much. We have a red carpet, and we had a phantom rolls, and we had all the Michael Jackson motorcycle last time. We so
Hmm.
many things we do, but it's just a way, and I put this whole thing together.
Yeah.
And it's a lot, but I have a great team. Cannot do it without my committee, and I love the staff and the committee, but it's something that I really get joy out of doing because I love the smiles on people's faces. I love when they tell me what a great time they had
Yeah.
and they remember that experience and they can't wait for the next one. And then that's when you're like, I got to do it again. I got to
Yeah.
do it again. And so producing events is really fun for me. So I love producing shows and events, whether I'm in Jamaica doing a dance performance that I help produce that segment, or I'm on the TV set producing that with my show, or I'm doing an event that people can come and engage and have a good time. Or as a commissioner, as you mentioned, we're planning Festival Beverly Hills right now. We
Yeah.
just had this meeting discussing the planning and talent and the food that we're going to select and the activations. It's so much that goes into productions, and it could be very stressful. But that energy, that adrenaline rush when it's all done and everybody has a great time, it's just magic. It's
Yeah.
just magic, and it makes you want to take a quick break or a vacation, but it makes you want to do it all over again to bring that joy to people. And so I do all these different careers, and I'm not doing them all simultaneously. That's impossible.
Yeah.
But I pick and choose which ones I do. And as you
Mhm.
mentioned, I also, yes, have been a real estate agent since 1989. I was first
Wow.
licensed in California with John Douglas Company
Mhm.
for those that remember that company. And I got my training and started working with Motown people, agents, high profile, singer celebrities. There's a group, New Edition. People know New Edition. My One of my early sales was for my good friend Johnny Gill.
Mhm.
At the time, we were dating.
Mhm.
At some point, I don't think while I sold in the house we were. Sinbad, the comedian, was a good friend. I knew his brother from college at Michigan State.
Ooh.
And so I sold him and his family, and his wife is a dear friend of mine, a beautiful home. And then there were agents and other basketball players and all these entertainers that I knew just through my circle. And it's an industry where you really have to trust the person working with you and not be goo goo gaga over the fact that they're famous, and
Yeah.
just take care of business and know
Mhm.
how to do business and respect their privacy. And I always had that because that was part of my family, so I didn't it was no big deal. I knew exactly how to handle, people that, were in that world,
Yeah.
and get take care of business at hand professionally and privately, and get them what they needed. And so I loved real estate, and I still do it. I have a few clients right now I've been working for. In fact, one might have just texted me. But yeah, so I enjoy real estate work as well. I do commercial as well, commercial rentals for people. I have a business here in Beverly Hills, a beauty spa that I put in Beverly Hills.
I'm gonna eventually when it's time for me to buy a house, you'll be hearing from me because
All
I
right.
want to make sure that no other real estate agent is gonna try to sell me on something that's gonna turn out to be a bad deal.
Yes, yes. I literally am the person that will say, this isn't the right place because I can sense that there's mold in here, or
Mhm.
the power line right here could be an issue. You decide. I'm just here to point them out. To
Yeah.
me, I think it's not the best place because I'm thinking resale value.
Mhm.
I want to make sure that if I sell you this property, should you want to sell it sooner than later or even later, I want to make sure that you could sell it. Hopefully through me. If not, I would never want a client to call and say, I couldn't sell it because you didn't tell me
Yeah.
the such and such would hinder my value or this and that. So I always sell it with resell in mind and my client getting equity
Mhm.
as early as possible, as much equity. And I will say that my track record has been really high on that. Like, I make sure they
Wow.
get good equity, that they can resell their property, make money, be happy where they are. I don't want to sell to someone just to have another sale.
Mhm.
I don't want to be bothered with that.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting on the phone every day to make a sale. It's about helping people. Again, I literally feel like when I die, I should live to really be of help to people. Because
Mhm.
I even in work professionally,
Mhm.
I don't work. Some people work because they just want to make a lot of money. Oh, I got to make money. Got to make. Society makes you have to make money to survive. Yes, but I don't. I if I was like that, I'd probably be in my aunt's old mansion right now.
Yeah.
But I do work that makes me feel good and that I'm helpful to other people
Mhm.
through what I do,
Yeah.
and that I get joy as a commissioner. Yes, I'm a city commissioner. I'm currently the chair of the commission for 1 year. Each of us gets a term as chair. Mine started last year, July. This July is coming up.
Mhm.
That'll be the end of my term as chair, but I'm still a commissioner on the commission, just like
Yeah.
our mayor is mayor, and then they're still on city council. So I will continue for another 2 years, 2.5 years to be a commissioner on Arts and Culture Commission. And I do it for the community. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm too busy to, a lot of us are too busy to become commissioners. Some people become a
Yeah.
commissioner because they got nothing to do.
Yeah.
A lot of them are like, I have nothing to do. I don't work. I'm just, let me become a commissioner and see how I can help. Other
Mhm.
people were like, I am extremely busy, but I have the talent, skill, connections, knowledge to be of help
Mhm.
to better my community.
Yeah.
And that was my lane. So it's just an honor to do it. But yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of commitment, meetings, especially when you're chair, you have more meetings. And we brought Festival Beverly Hills to the city. I was real passionate about bringing a music entertainment event to the city,
Mhm.
big on a big scale outdoors, as was Liliana Filipovic, who's a fellow commissioner. And we both had that same vision, and we were able to get approval through our fellow commissioners and through the process and ultimately through city council. So we always thank them because we are here to serve city council.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We
Mhm.
we don't make decisions for the city, but we advise
Yeah.
our city council on what we think as professionals and knowledgeable people
Mhm.
in that position. So if anybody out there wants to ever become a city commissioner, they feel that they can be of help. We have, I think, at this point, because some have been ended. I think we're now at about 10 commissions,
Yeah.
but they can go to the city website, beverlyhills.org, and look up city commissions. Maybe one day be a commissioner.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great to do. It's a great give back, um, especially if you have some talent skills in it. And so, yeah, everybody should come out July 20th, the Festival of Beverly Hills. It's right up by the Beverly Hills sign. I know school will be out,
Yeah.
but this is our third year, and we had over 3,000 people last year.
Ooh.
And we celebrate it's multicultural. That's the premise, that we want to celebrate many cultures. That was very important to me to put a request that we make it multicultural,
Yeah.
because that brings people together.
Mm-hmm.
Back in 2020, there was just so much tension and people going at it and starting to separate. I thought, that's not good. We need to show love and respect and come together. And I said, people fear what they don't understand.
Yeah.
When you don't understand someone's culture, then you want to bash their culture or be a bully to their culture, come up against someone or tell people, go back to your country or what. All that's ridiculous. So anybody that hears that should ignore it. Just let people talk, because they don't know what they're saying. But I think coming to a place where you get to learn about that culture
Yeah.
through dance, through music that they have in their culture, through the food, the culinary,
Yeah.
the clothing, everybody has their traditional clothing that they wear for their cultures in many parts of the world. So when you understand and learn why people do that and what it means to them, it becomes a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It becomes very African dance. People has transitioned through so many cultures. Salsa and Hispanic cultures, it transitions through so many different platforms, and people end up enjoying it, thinking they started it, but it comes from somewhere else. And in the end, we'll find out that there's such a similarity
Yeah.
in all of those areas of dance and music and food that people do. So I love this festival. I think it's so great. We deal with consulates that come and represent their cultures. And it's like you travel. That's what I say.
Yeah.
It's like you just took a vacation coming through there, because you feel like you traveled to Italy or to Senegal or to El Salvador or to we did Trinidad and Tobago. So you just feel like you just took this vacation right up the street in Beverly Hills by the Beverly Hills sign, and it's just so fun.
Yeah.
So people should come on out. I hope to see a lot of the students that are in town July 20th.
Yeah. Hopefully I can come by, because
Yeah,
it sounds really fun.
it is. And kudos to our staff. We have amazing staff. Karina, Matthew, and the whole team. Brandy, Paul, Poloni. Got to give them shout outs, because they're working so hard as a staff for the city, and thank them. Of course, our director, Stephanie Harris, and Patty Acuna is our assistant director of community services. So when people see all these events happening in Beverly Hills, those are the people that are doing it.
Yeah.
They're working hard. Yeah. And if I left anybody off the team, Chris is new to the team. I don't want to leave Chris out, and David. So yeah, I hope that's everybody. And Lori. Now that I'm deep hole now. Once you start naming people, I think I've covered you all. Yeah.
I remember Lori from the Strike Fest festival. She was really nice.
That's a different Lori. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's a different person. Lori works for the city of Beverly Hills. So,
Oh yeah, I'm thinking about Lori Ward.
Yeah, that's different Lori. Yeah. I was naming people that work for the city of Beverly Hills. These are the staff that put on all the events through community services.
Oh.
It's a lot. I mean, their list of events is like this. So when you hear whether it's an arts and crafts fair or it's something at Greystone or here, the book club, the library, it's amazing. So one of they oversee 3 commissions. My commission, Arts and Culture, Human Relations, and Parks and Rec Commission. So they're busy. So I have to give them their props, because they work really hard. And right now they're focused on the Beverly Hills Art Show, which is coming up in a week and a half.
Yeah.
So everybody should be up for the art show.
And I want to give a prop to you, a thank you to you for inviting me to be a volunteer for that the Strike Fest.
Friends of Fuller Gordy Strike Fest. You came out and you worked. You did a good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, you were a greeter at one point, and you were running around and you asked where we needed help. And I could tell in coming to the career day and speaking and being on the advisor. I'm on the advisory for CTE.
Yeah.
And with Cindy Dubin, and it's such a joy to be able to come and help the students by being there, interacting in those meetings, coming up with ideas and ways and opportunities for them as they're looking to start their life in the workplace. And so I always do my best to brainstorm for Cindy and the team on ways to interact with our community, our business leaders, our city manager. I put her in touch with to do some things. So and I spotted you. I said, I've seen Amado a lot. I think, would you be interested in this? And you said yes. So,
Yeah.
and you tried something different. You didn't know what to expect, and it was a great experience. I had a meeting yesterday talking about doing our 14th year
Oh,
this fall in November. So it's like I have to mentally get ready for the work, though. It's when you dive into a production, because when I do that,
mhm.
then I pull off maybe some of the real estate transactions, or I pull off one thing I don't pull off is being a city commissioner. That's just it. I
Yeah.
always have to be there and show up. But other areas I can decide, okay, maybe for 2 months I may not do a real estate deal, or
Yeah.
I might not do another production. I'll focus on this one, or and so since I'm currently in talks with people in Japan, Korea, and the UK and Canada about bringing one of my Motown show that I produced and sold out at the Wallace Annenberg in 2022. It's like you got to decide, okay, I know what that entails. So then I know if I can put time over here, or I have to put a team in place that I know can take some of the edge off. And with real estate, I have real estate partners that I bring in on some deals. So if I'm working a production, then I'll say, hey, I have these two clients. This is what their needs are. Can you work this deal with me? Then I can balance them. And I've done that successfully many times. And I never neglect anybody. I never take on something that I can't complete
Yeah.
to the best, and I'll bring the right people on to handle it. So it has not been a problem, and I just love it.
Yeah.
I just love it because in the end, the client gets what they want, the audience gets what they want. I'm happy, and life moves forward. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I'm a multifaceted career individual, and I like it. Some people say you got to pick one thing and be very successful. Well, yeah, if I want to be you know, a real estate agent the rest of my life and become the top agent and I don't need the check marks and the
Yeah.
badges, because to me that doesn't fulfill me.
Mhm.
But I have nothing against people that do that. I
Yeah.
admire them. I celebrate them. I'll like other real estate agents. Jade Mills is a good friend. She does a great job, and I love that. But it doesn't mean that everybody has to do that same lane. So I feel people should really not let other people dictate in life, even your family, what you do.
Mhm.
Listen, learn, take the advice, and then you decide what's going to make you feel happy and fulfilled.
Yeah.
Yeah, the world is truly your oyster out there. It's so much to do, so you got
Mhm.
to enjoy it. And so I'm living my one life,
Mhm.
and I'm not getting any younger. I'm being at Beverly taps me into my young age. When I was here, I used to go around like Miss Flashdance from the movie Fame. My
Oh,
leg warmers and all my dances. That's how I used to run around school all the time. And so when I come back here, it taps me back into that energy. But life is short, and so I realize I have to just really focus on me and what my kids are grown. My kids went to Beverly.
yeah. And
Yeah.
Morgan, I was,
Yeah, you got to be close to my daughter
yeah.
Morgan. So Morgan graduated in 2013,
Mhm.
and Kiara graduated 2010.
Oh,
So Morgan was a cheerleader, and she worked at KBEV. She
oh,
was one of
yeah.
the news anchors at KBEV. And my daughter Kiara was on track, varsity track, basketball as well. And they were really well known around the school. Good girls, are still doing great.
Mhm.
And yeah, so and they went to Beverly Vista and Beverly. So look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm proud. We have many generations that come through the school, and it's I think a beautiful thing to come back full circle and have you invite me to come here and talk about my experiences growing up in the city of Beverly Hills. And and they're all like you mentioned, they're not great. All aren't great. Some are great, some aren't.
Yeah.
There were some tough experiences, but you make it through and you try to find and navigate. And I think today as an adult, I really do look back on some of the more difficult times growing up in this community.
Mhm.
Um, and I will say it. I said I don't want to get into it, so I don't want to get into a deep discussion. But growing up in a community where you're not the majority demographic,
Yeah.
um, for anybody, wherever you are, can be more difficult
Yeah.
and it's difficult based on people treating you different.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason it's difficult. So even your city leadership can treat you different. Even your police department can treat you different. So back in the 70s,
Mhm.
it was much different than it is today.
Yeah.
So yeah, so growing up can be difficult, but it was a pleasurable, happy, upbringing. So I would just say you learn from that. And now today I look back and reflect, and I spend a lot of my time making things better
Yeah.
through what I know wasn't maybe the best way, but I see and I work with leadership and I work with people to say, hey, back then things weren't that great. Here are ways we can continue to improve our city because everything is about improving and being better and better. And I think people ultimately want to learn from any mistakes made or any people that were in leadership that didn't do things the right way and they want to do it better every time.
Yeah.
And so that's what I really have an honor to be in my position to help our community make it better, find fun things to do. And so that's to me sums up really what keeps me going every day. And I stay extremely busy doing so many things, but I think that drives me.
Yeah. And like you said, even though you're not getting any younger, that's advice from Mr. Carey, who just had a philosophical discussion with
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
I think he's like 56 years old.
Stop telling people's age.
But
Yeah.
he told me, I remember my freshman year, he told me the key to having a young body, a body that works, is to not only tell yourself that you're 39 years old. He said, avoid GMOs. If you avoid GMOs and you stay in shape, you'll still have that young body. And I don't know if you've seen Mr. Carey's content, but he
Mhm.
has his own YouTube channel, and there was a short video where he outran these soccer players.
Ah,
I've even raced him
okay.
too. It's hard to beat him.
I agree. I am a pescatarian, which means I eat fish a
Hmm.
lot, but I eat wild fish.
Oh.
I wanna know where it's sourced, where it's from, so I wild fish, I don't eat farm raised. I'd say 95% of the time, because there's always a few exceptions,
Hmm.
on the sourcing. But yeah, I drink alkaline water from an Enagic Kangen machine, which actually I'm a distributor for Enagic Kangen, so if you ever want any good water, call me.
Hmm.
Um, Had that since 2009, and learned about it here at Beverly, actually, at
Oh.
the football field.
Oh wow.
My daughter Kiara, her boyfriend, his family drank this water, and we were out there, and I saw them drinking it and in the bleachers, and asked them about it. Next thing you know, I started trying it and felt the energy I got from it, and I was very hydrated. Next thing you know, I bought a machine right here on the school campus. So that started here as well. But yeah, you got to take care of yourself.
Hmm.
It's important. So I think we are in control of what we put in our body.
Yeah.
Just like some people, it's so funny. They're so concerned about what they put in what they feed their animal.
Hmm.
Great food. I want to feed my animal great, but they eat crappy food.
Yeah.
Or they want to make sure the kids eat really great, but then they eat really bad.
Yeah.
So it's like you clearly know what you put in your body, whether you're drinking, what you're eating, and what you're putting on the outside, lotions and
Yeah.
oils and all that are very important because they're absorbed into your system, just like a flower.
Hmm. Exactly.
You wouldn't want to put nasty, mucky water on your roses garden
Hmm.
because it's absorbing and it's going to create what it results. And so you have the same way.
Yeah.
You have to take care of anything that you're putting. So it's so important. I do my best to eat healthy and very minimal fried foods.
Hmm.
Watch your oils,
Yeah.
uh, avocado oil, olive oil.
Hmm.
Those are good oils. So many things to think about that allow you to do all the things you do in life. If you want
Yeah.
to be present and enjoy life, you got to take care of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you look good. I mean, just how you are as a, I would just say, I forgot where I was going.
Just you said it. I look good. No.
Yeah. The point is,
I'll
like,
stop there.
yeah.
And enough said. No, I'm okay.
Just going back about, just how you're not getting any younger. Just
Yeah.
the key is to think about this as you get older is getting older is a blessing. If you have
Yes.
that mentality, then you'll always be okay. You'll always look young.
Mhm.
You'll always feel confident about how you are, no matter what anyone says.
Absolutely. You gotta take care of yourself. And I wanna add into this discussion, because we do have a lot of students that probably watch the show, correct?
Yeah.
Um, that I do a lot of artist development work, and I'm gonna go into teaching people to be on camera, TV hosting, out on the red carpet. I think that's very important, and
Hmm.
I've just always been great at what's called quality control,
Yeah.
watching talent any kind of performer, whether you're dancing, acting, singing, on television, doing broadcast. I have a remarkable eye, and I've done a lot of work in coaching
Yeah.
people. So it's something that ultimately that I just don't want to add that layer to the many things fully as a element of I have Bristol Entertainment that I do through Bristol Enterprise, and I do a multitude of things that I haven't even discussed here. But that is one area that I really, really enjoy because, like I said, back at Michigan State, I used to teach dance
Yeah.
and work with youth, and I love engaging with youth and helping elevate them to where they're trying to get and where they're trying to be through the performing arts.
Yeah.
So, if they have an interest or want to come to any of my events, as you came and worked on one of our productions, come by the TV station. I'm sure BHTV would be happy to try to accommodate. Let me know.
Yeah.
I'm really open to assisting in those many ways. Yeah, and coaching. I do, like I said, I do coaching. So it's fun. When you have a natural talent and a skill and ability, you got to help other people.
Yeah.
You got to find a way to share that and help other people or spend that time engaging. So I'm going to grow that more at some point as I release some other areas.
Yeah.
So it might be when I finish my term as a commissioner in 2027, and I'll do it a little bit here and there. I take on minimal clients for that, but it's fun stuff to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun stuff to do.
And regarding what I would like to do for a career, to be a famous talk show host and other stuff like producing documentaries, becoming a journalist writer, potentially a disc jockey. For my main career goal as a talk show host, what advice do you have for me as I continue to grow and develop that kind of career? And I tried this with my last guest. I'm gonna ask you this as well for the audience who maybe have the same opinions like you would. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, what would you rate me for our interview
Oh,
today so far?
goodness. You're putting me on the spot, Amado. What? As a TV as a interviewer
Yeah,
for this program or to be on, like, network TV?
just for
There's
this
a difference.
for this interview today. The
I'll give you a
question.
9 because I don't give away 10s easily.
You know what? Yours was higher than last time. This guy that I interviewed, he said, "I'll give you an 8. I want to give you a 10, but I know there's room for you to
Mhm.
improve."
There is.
Yeah,
But I think I would say for this platform, I would say that because you and I'm not talking just this moment. I'm thinking of how you prepare
yeah,
for your show as well.
hmm
And that's a big part of it. I watch how you prepare and send questions, prepare me from the time I drive on campus.
yeah,
That's great. I do that. I send maps to the station to my clients, my guest, and let them know about the green room and what to expect. I kind of over explain when I do things,
yeah,
but I feel it's more. Information is power. I say that all the time. It's truly the case. You give someone too much information about the lay of the land here, well, then they can take what they want out of it.
yeah,
But it's better that than them coming here and going, well, where do I go?
hmm
Where's the elevator? Where do I park? You don't want them asking you a bunch of questions. So
yeah,
you really do great with that before we even get to the studio.
hmm
So those give you extra points. So that's why I say a 9 because you really do prep well and you make sure your guest is comfortable. If they have any questions, you want to meet the needs.
hmm
And then you do your research. You
yeah,
you prepare your questions based on research, and
hmm
that's important. If your style is to wear your hat backwards, that's different. I don't know, but
yeah,
you got to go with your look. And if that becomes the model style, you come up with what your style is, and that's you. You
hmm
can dictate. No one has to be formal. No one has to be in a suit and tie unless you're
yeah,
going to be like on nightly news.
yeah,
Um, so you can adapt to that. But
hmm
if you make it to that level, then I'm sure you would be that person to adapt to it. And
yeah,
we'd see Amato in a suit and tie doing the interview, or he'd be casual at the sports game and doing his interview. I think you can adapt, and I trust that you would do the research,
yeah.
yeah, and prepare. So I think it's great.
And then, what are some tips that you have as I continue to grow and develop a career as a talk show host? Any failures I'll experience, any mistakes that you've made that you wouldn't want me or others to make as well?
Well, one, I'd say prepare for. mishaps.
Mm.
Always think of what could happen if something goes wrong and be prepared to fill that in.
Yeah.
Because I had to do that at the many times, but so be
Mhm.
spontaneous.
Yeah.
So something's wrong on set or someone does a guest has an you have to know how to go with the flow and keep it moving.
Mhm.
So always expect the unexpected
Yeah.
when you're on a show. Research, 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 know the information and study it and prepare it. It's great that you don't use notes,
Yeah.
but it's okay. If you look at most network shows, they have little cards.
Mhm.
Most talk show hosts have a little cheat card where they highlight certain things they want to discuss or not forget to bring up because you can get so engaged in the conversation
Yeah.
that I forgot to mention, such and such about them winning this award.
Yeah.
And you're like, ah, because you get so focused and you can. And if you look down, you're like, oh, right, right, the award.
Yeah.
And it's just a cheat sheet. But so there's nothing wrong with it. But a lot of times you just sit and converse. It can give you a flow. You can also have a board off camera that can
Oh, yeah.
highlight a couple of things you want to remember at the end. You could glance at and be like, okay, yeah, that's right. I want to make sure because you could miss something very important.
Yeah.
And then you're upset later, like, God, I had this one opportunity to have this guest on set and I didn't get to discuss it.
Yeah.
Eye contact is great. You're great with that. You do glance at your camera. I love, that you do that.
Yeah.
So you engage your audience and then you turn around and you're definitely staying focused. I've been literally interviewed and people the whole time are trying to like be all up in that camera. They're they're
Yeah.
so and just like, I'm here. Hello, I'm your guest.
Yeah.
So you wanna do it. So I see a lot of those that you're doing that are great. But I would just say the research is important. Um, and adapt to the environment. There's not a lot of critiquing in that way. You even have your mics where they're supposed to be.
Mhm.
A lot of people don't know how to engage the mic. You're turned the right way.
Yeah.
I look at position. Typically, there's a lot of critiques down to that I have to say to people because they're too much like this
Mhm.
and they're cutting off.
Yeah.
They're facing the camera. You got to be cat a corner. You got to be able to have the camera see you as well as your guests see you.
Yeah.
So those are all good things. Yeah.
And to end off on this, what is the most important lesson that you want to pass down to me and my generation, regardless of, especially since I'm about to graduate, head off to college in the real world, regardless of what any of us students want to pursue in life, what's the key to continue growing as people?
Right off the bat, the word kindness comes to my mind. I think people need to really exude kindness toward other people
Hmm.
and have respect toward other people, whether you like somebody or not.
Yeah.
But if everybody was, showing kindness and respect because they're human beings,
Yeah.
then you just go about your day. You can agree to disagree, and then there's not as much conflict. And
Yeah.
and you can do your lane, they can do their lane. But if we're not, harming each other, we can have differences.
Hmm.
You can have conversation in peace and yeah, well, I have this opinion, you have that opinion, move on. But it's when you're unkind
Hmm.
and you're very disrespectful toward others that there's a lot of conflict that comes out of that.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to be kind to people.
It is.
At the end of my TV show at Public Access in West Hollywood, I always say, make someone smile today. Make someone smile today. Because by your action, you don't know what they're going through in life.
Hmm.
People might need that just to boost their energy. They might be at the lowest of lows. Just by you giving them a nice smile on the sidewalk, maybe that it hit them like, wow, someone cares. People need to know that you care about them.
Yeah.
Somebody cares. And
Exactly.
it's amazing to think that there are people out there that feel no one cares about them
Hmm.
because they're having such a down. If you stay in that low space, so be kind, show some goodness, do a kind gesture to people,
Yeah.
and I would just say that will help you in any path of a career that you take. Yeah.
It's definitely helped me out because that's something I've been able um, to put on for others,
Mhm.
to give someone a smile, to be kind
Yeah.
towards another person, always stay positive. And this one teacher told me about how she came across this man one time, long story short, who was just so positive, so kind, and she gave him her card and she was like, if I ever need you for something, I'll call you. Later on, she ended up calling this man. It really just
Yeah.
takes you a long way.
Yeah. And no one's perfect in life.
Yeah.
Always believe no one's perfect. So when people search out for perfect or they want the perfect situation or the perfect job or no, there's going to be some flaws here and there, but it's how you handle it. It's
Exactly.
always how you handle situations. And then if you make mess up and you have a moment, because we're human, you can get upset in the moment, heated, control your anger. I think anger management should be taught in school.
Yeah.
I think people should have a class on anger management because that's something in life. We grow up from being a child. If you have anger issues as a child, it's going to be ridiculously crazy when you get
Oh
older.
yeah.
So I think addressing anger management, someone should open their little anger management facility here,
Hmm.
but learn how to process those emotions early and it will help you in your whole career and your path and your life, your relationships, your interactions, and then be okay to apologize when you realize you may have done something wrong or said something out of the emotion, because
Yeah.
typically that's when it happens. You're
Hmm.
emotional, you're caught up, you feel a certain way, and you can only hold things so time. I've done it,
Yeah.
and so be that person that can go up and say, I'm really sorry that I got to that point. I
Yeah.
really don't mean to do that. We shouldn't let things come out all the time. So let's, you know,
Yeah.
kind of move on from that. But just know I do apologize for allowing that to happen because we shouldn't react that way to people.
Hmm.
And so, in fact, I mean, I just did it recently to somebody. I didn't mean it that way, or they took it differently than you meant. You have to, if you care about people's feelings, then you're going to think about how you're saying things.
Yeah.
So, everybody, and people need to recognize that they may have that issue.
Hmm.
People, we know if we're quick to flip off at somebody. We
Oh
know if
yeah.
what irritates us. We know what bothers us, and I interact with people all the time in
Yeah.
all of my careers. Real estate, lots of people. That's a people business. For someone who grew up shy, like I told you,
Hmm.
I grew up very shy, quiet. I had to get out of that shyness through real estate. Through that, I got into all the other areas and had to engage and talk to people. And in that, you're going to deal with all kind of personalities and emotions and things. So yeah, it's real important to know how to manage it and to acknowledge if you have a temper or not. I never did. I was calm,
Yeah.
but I have people that I've been around that they flip off,
Hmm.
and you learn those, and then you learn how to deal with people.
Yeah.
But those people really need a little, anger management.
Oh yeah.
Manage the anger.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was a pleasure having you on my show today. Everything you said was philosophical. It was enlightening, bright. I'm grateful for connecting with you and again for inviting me to be a volunteer for your event. I look
Okay.
forward to staying in touch with you. And like you've said, like others have told me, you'll see what I'm gonna do once I leave this place and what type of lifestyle I have.
Yeah, you're the senior that's about to take off and do some bigger things. How about
Yeah,
that, huh? I
exactly.
look forward to watching your journey. Watched it here for about a good year and a half. So to see you continue to go, I'm real excited about the possibilities of where you're going to go. I know it's going to be great.
Yeah,
And I've told you this before to your mother. Congratulations on all she's done. She's been an amazing mom to you. I could tell by how you are.
yeah.
And yeah, it's been a pleasure to be here and share some things about me in the city. And like people can reach out to me. My website is my name's with a K, karlagordybristol.com. I do need to update that website though, but it's there.
Hmm.
And you can reach me through the City of Beverly Hills website. To Google my name and commissioner, it'll pull up. If there's anything there I can do for you, and never hesitate to come up and interact and talk. If there's anything I can do for anybody, and in my city and neighboring towns, of course. But we Beverly Hills. That's where we. That's just wherever you're raised. That's home. This is
Yeah.
home.
Hmm.
So home is the most important
Yeah.
to me and to be of impact. So thank you.
Of course. And that's it for the Amado Lucero show. Look forward to seeing you again. Hit the subscribe button and share this with all your friends and family. All right.
Yay!
Now I'm gonna